Hey, what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you to Warrior Soil. So before I get into this video, I would like to say, if you're new here, I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. The second rule, that's for you to verify everything that you learn, whether it's here on this channel, another channel, or anywhere. That should be a rule to life. So getting into the video, this is going to be some credit card news. And one thing about this credit card news is it relates to the previous couple of videos that I've been making. So in one of my previous videos, it came out that American Express, their profits are up. And the reason why their profits are up is because of Millennial and Generation Z card holders. And first class flights and business flights are up 19% when it comes to those card holders. And vacations are one of the main things that people pay for in the fourth quarter of 2024. And according to American Express, it has been transferring over to 2025. And what makes that news so interesting is because in the past here on this channel, whenever I will release the news and I will tell the bad news and say, hey, people are in credit card debt and they're not paying down their debt, a lot of people will come by and they will say, well, people are in credit card debt because they're struggling to get by. And my opinion has always been, yes, some people are in credit card debt because they're struggling to get by and they're living paycheck to paycheck. However, there are a lot of people who use credit cards for discretionary spending and discretionary items that they really don't need. However, they want those things. And this article today in this video is going to reveal something that kind of connects those two things. Because if you're saying that people are using these credit cards and overspending because they're doing it for necessities and trying to survive, well, the American Express article that I recently reviewed, it says the opposite of that. So it could be a combination of both that's going on. People are using their credit cards for necessities, and people are also using their credit cards for discretionary spending and items that they really don't need. Nonetheless, people are using their credit cards and they are carrying balances. And this article that I'm going over right now is going to reveal another thing that makes it even worse. So we're going to get right into it. All right. So this article is by Wall Street Journal and it's on wallstreetjournal.com, WSJ.com. And it's behind a paywall. However, if you become a subscriber to the Wall Street Journal, they'll allow you to read the article free of charge. There's no charge for it. So I just wanted to let you all know that because I do post a link to that article in the description box, and I know some of you may want to read it. It's a quick read. It's only a couple of paragraphs, but I'm going to present it here. You can either go check it out or you can read it here. But either way, let's get right into it. It says, more people are making just the minimum credit card payment, says Capital One. So you all can see what this article is about. It's about people making the minimum payment. And if you're a subscriber on this channel and you've been a subscriber for a while, you know I have a big issue with people making the minimum payment on credit cards. That is not something we do over here. That's not something we believe in. I'll talk about it after I'm done reading through this article. But if you're new here, you want to stay for that. But let's get right into it. It says, more customers are making just the minimum payment on credit card balances instead of paying the full amount each month, said Capital One Chief Executive Richard Fairbanks during the lender's earnings call. It says the bank, the U.S. ninth largest, found this was happening across all income levels. The proportion of Capital One customers making only minimum payments was also higher than pre-pandemic levels. Fairbanks said the average consumer remained in good shape, but added, quote unquote, talking in averages doesn't always cover what's going on. Inflation and high interest rates continue to affect lower income households, Maury said. Capital One is a major credit card issuer with a large savings account. Late Tuesday, it reported $1.1 billion in fourth quarter net income, a 55% increase from a year earlier. It narrowly missed analyst revenue expectations. Its stock rose 2% Wednesday morning. So this article is from 5 days ago. So Wednesday morning would have been the previous week. What's interesting about what was just said is it says all people all income levels are making the minimum payments. And this relates back to what a lot of you used to come by and say. You used to say, hey, people are making a minimum payment because they're struggling to get by. They're living paycheck to paycheck. But according to this and according to Capital One, all income levels are making minimum payments. And that goes into habits, because when you have people who even have higher incomes coming in and they're just paying the minimum payment, I think we really have created a culture of people believing that with credit cards, you're supposed to just pay the minimum payment and carry over balances. And this has a lot to do with the whole debt-free community and why they feel the way they feel about credit cards. A lot of them believe that, hey, people with credit cards are irresponsible, credit cards are bad for you, and credit cards are something you should stay away from. Now, my first experience with learning about credit cards, I was told to stay away from credit cards. I was told basically they will ruin your life. So credit cards were basically presented as the boogeyman to me. So I stayed away from them, and I stayed away from them for a couple of years. I knew deep down that I needed to increase my credit score and have a credit score to get the things that I desire in life, whether it was for the present or for the future. But I was told to stay away from one of the main tools that help you with increasing your credit score, and that's a credit card. So I think a lot of people lack education when it comes to credit cards, how to properly manage credit cards, and also when it comes to things such as when to pay, how much to pay, and when you should pay. And please believe these banks are taking advantage of that. And you can't fault the banks. You can't get mad at the banks. You can't blame them, because it's up to us, the consumer, to know better. And as I stated, the average person more than likely just goes around and believes, hey, I might as well carry around a credit card balance and just make the minimum payment on it. And people, they actually expect to pay interest on a credit card. That's why when I come across new people that I'm helping, they always talk about their APR and the interest on the credit card. And I tell them, like, hey, while that's important, you really shouldn't be worrying about that. What you should be worrying about is being able to pay in full whatever you spend on a month-to-month basis. And if you can't pay it in full, you should not be using your credit card to purchase it. And we have to get more into that mindset instead of, hey, I'll just purchase something and I'll just pay for it later. I remember when I was a kid, a lot of stores used to have something called layaway. And layaway was basically when you could get something and you could pay for it later. Of course, they would charge you interest, but you could purchase something and they'll hold it for you. You don't get to take it home like you do now with the different buy now, pay later things, but they'll hold it for you, and then after you make your payments, you're finally able to take it away, but you do get hit with interest. And that was something big where I grew up, because as I always state, I grew up in poverty, and I grew up where there was a lack of financial literacy, so there were so many things to take advantage of us financially, whether it was layaway, whether it was places like Rent-A-Center, buy here, pay here, car dealerships, title loan places, whatever it may be. They were all around us on the east side of Buffalo, New York. And this is a common theme, not just on the east side of Buffalo, New York, but pretty much all around this country. It's set up like that to play on people's lack of financial literacy. And I understand that it's up to us, because it's not in the schools to teach people about what's going on and to teach people any better. One thing that you should know, if you're watching this video right now, you should not be making purchases if you could only make the minimum payment. Now, I know some of you will come by and argue, well, how are you going to tell us what to do? We're grown and things like that. But if you want to stay out of debt, and if you want to keep yourself from putting yourself in a hole when it comes to interest, one of the things that you need to do is not purchase things that you know you'll have to carry over balances for. And you can say, hey, well, some people are just trying to get by. But as this article suggested, it's all income levels. It has a lot to do with discipline, and I just want people to be more disciplined. Please believe these banks and these credit card companies, a lot of them, if they were to see these videos, they would not be pleased with it. There's a reason why some funny business has been happening with my YouTube channel, but that's a whole nother topic. But if you're watching these type of videos and you like them, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to share them and show support. But anyways, if you're new around here and you feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications. That way you don't miss a future video, because I post often. That's clicking on that bell and selecting all. Also, this goes to every single one of you watching right now. Be sure to hit the like button. It literally takes a second. That's my subscribers included. You all definitely should be hitting the like button if you are a subscriber to this channel. I appreciate every single one of you for taking out the time to watch this video. This is Water Your Soil, and I'm out. What's going on? This is Nell from Water Your Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit, or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit, or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.